Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Tim.
And I'm Tony.
And welcome to Raw Talk Christian Podcast. Hey, yo, Tony, why don't you let everybody know what this podcast is all about?
Raw Talk is all about focusing on overcoming. Everybody has something to overcome, from a little bitty baby on up into adulthood. We have things that we have to overcome.
Hey, I couldn't say it any better myself. We focus on overcoming here. And look, this is a very, very, very special month. TB, tell them what month this is.
This is Mental Health Awareness Month, man.
Yes, Mental Health Awareness Month. And with that being said, we didn't want to just come on here and just kind of just have our regular conversation. We want to actually bring in some very special guests. And our first guest for this occasion, Mental Health Awareness Month, is none other than the uber accomplished Jae Nicole Scoggins.
Yes,
and look, I know I said her whole government name. Y'all forgive me. Hey, but we are so happy to have you here, ma'am. How you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you guys for having me. This is very exciting.
Hey, look, we are so honored that you have taken time out of your busy schedule to come be with us today. And if you don't mind, kind of give a little bit of history about who you are, what you do, what makes you you.
Yes, so while Tim has given you all my government name, I am Jae Nicole, certified life coach specializing in branding and social media. I'm a corporate trainer by day and a multi-passionate entrepreneur by night. So I have 15 plus years of experience in corporate America with training and development, and then 5 years in the branding and social media space. And I help Black women step into their purpose, elevate their brands, and live unapologetically dope lives. My zone of genius is really just being able to impart to women and giving them the tools to how to be unapologetically dope. So.
Oh, man, I love that zone of genius. Yeah. Unapologetically dope. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm still in that.
Yeah.
Take it.
Love it.
Yeah. And so on this episode, we are actually talking about overcoming asking for help.
Yeah.
We mentioned this in our last podcast, how that's one thing we really wanted to focus on is people in general, or not in general, more specifically on people and how to help them get to the best version of themselves as they can be. And so one of the areas that we kind of see that I know personally myself, and I know probably you too, Tony Boy, we mirror so much, man,
right.
that especially me as a man, as a Black man, a husband, a father, and everything that comes with that. Sometimes it's hard. My pride gets in the way, and it's hard for me to ask for help. Can you agree with that?
Oh, man, totally, wholeheartedly agree. Coming up, we were, I guess, taught that asking for help is a sign of weakness. So we don't like to show ourselves weak. Right. I mean, I've seen people try to move whole couches by themselves. Oh, I got this. I
don't need no help.
It's like, you don't got this, But we feel as if it's a sign of weakness to ask for help, So and I'm that way too. It's now I got it. I don't need your help. I don't want to give you a chance to say something about me. So or talk about that you had to help me with something because I couldn't do it. Yeah. So I think that one of the biggest issues could be, feeling incompetent. So that's why I sometimes don't ask for help, man.
Wow, that's big. Well, and we're talking about from the male's perspective, but again, we're happy that we have a wonderful, beautiful young lady here, Julia. Like, what are some things that, you have yourself had problems asking for help with, or you've heard other people talk about, asking for help, some issues?
Definitely the first one would, to piggyback off what you said earlier, is pride. That's ultimately what it boils down to, is just being prideful. A lot of that for me as a woman coming from a single parent household is just seeing an independent Black woman raise her children, rear, her grandchildren, and create a livelihood for her children all by herself. And so for me, seeing that, you get whatever is in you comes out.
Right.
So of course it was natural for me just to be independent in that way, but also I've ran across and also experienced times where you've asked for help and that be used against you,
Ooh,
like it's a overhead, you know, like, well, you remember when I did X, Y, Z, and it's like, if I scratch your back, you scratch mine. And so a lot of times we can get, you know, stagnant because we don't want to be in a position where we have to feel like we're obligated or owe anyone else help because they've helped us. And then another one would absolutely be fear. Just fear, period, can really paralyze us and keep us from getting to our next because the unfamiliar of asking for help. I don't know what that looks like. So.
Right.
That's good.
And I like what you said. You know, it's, you know, not wanting to ask for help. It's I scratch your back and you scratch mine. You know, so I think that there's a fear in that, the fear of owing somebody. You know, it's like, no, I don't want to owe anybody anything. You know, so I'm a refrain from asking for help because, you know, I've seen this person, somebody asked them for help before, and it was like, you know, they came right to me. It was like, yeah, I had to go over there and help so-and-so out, you know, and he can't even do this for me, you know. So I believe it's the fear of owing somebody that we don't have.
Put my name out in the street, help. When you help me, just don't help me. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, if I didn't need the help, you know what I'm saying? If I felt comfortable going and letting everybody know, I would have let everybody know. But I ain't put a post out on social media saying, hey, is there anybody out there that can help me? You know what I'm saying? No, I came to you individually because I thought I could confide in you and that you could help me and I wouldn't have to worry about that betrayal. So that's definitely a really good point. Now, Julia, you say you are a licensed life coach with an emphasis in
branding and social media.
So we know that a lot of people, social media has become a part of our everyday lives. You know what I'm saying? And so there are a lot of people who are out there who have started businesses and think that, you know what I'm saying, hey, I can just go the way we used to do, just off word of mouth alone. And so, you know, or they say, hey, I see social media as this platform where people just be messy and nasty and don't actually see the benefit in actually branding and marketing with social media especially. And so they tend to not ask for that help. Or they feel like, hey, I'm just going to put a post out there and, you know, everybody's going to come. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to like branding with social media, what are some of the misconceptions when it comes to that aspect?
I would say the number one misconception when it comes to branding and social media for your business is that it's hard. And because it's hard, people don't ask for help because they feel like, I don't know how to show up like XYZ, or I don't know how to get my story across, when really it boils down to being authentic. And that's where the whole unapologetically dope movement comes in. Because with my clients, they come for brand when they finally do have the, you know, the confidence to come and ask for branding and social media. The life coaching part comes in because we have to deal with the mindset first, their confidence. And a lot of times people use the buzzword authentic and authenticity thinking it's, you know, being raw, but not being real, you know? And so for me, I have to coach my clients to be free to be themselves because ultimately that's what attracts you, your tribe to you, is just you being you. Whatever that special thing is about you, that's what the people need, because there's a unique group of people that God's given you to serve, but they can't find you if you're showing up as XYZ. They can only find you if you're showing up as yourself. And so a lot of times people don't show up on social media because they feel like being authentic is hard because they feel like they have to be like everyone else.
I heard shout out to Apostle Matthew L. Stevenson. He said this. He said that it's easy to be somebody else because you see them, you see what they do. The hardest thing it is to do is be you because there's not another you out there.
No blueprint.
So you ain't seen nobody do you, you know. I think that's what it is. That's part of the reason why it's so hard for so many people to be authentic is because they don't give credit to themselves.
Absolutely.
They don't. So when you don't give credit to yourself, you will always look for who you can give credit to. You know, you always look at, this is a success right here. Let me study them and see what they did, and then mimic them. When really, it's like, no, you have a unique set of fingerprints for a reason. You know, you have a unique walk for a reason. So, do you, be you, study you.
Right.
You know, we are so encouraged to, you know, I've heard somebody say, you know, well, you need to get a PhD in your wife. The first person you need to get a PhD in is you.
Right. Yeah. You better preach, boy.
Right. I am. Bad. But seriously, though, you know, we need to attend university.
Come on,
you
now.
know what I mean? We need to look at ourselves. You know, I'll be honest. Coming up, I've looked at so many other people because, you know, of things that was said about me. You know. So it was so easy to look at somebody else and mimic them. And, you know, so like I tried to be a friend of mine one time, and man, it got me in trouble. Got me in deep trouble. It's like, hey, you not him. He can get away with that, not you. You know, you don't even do him right. You know. So we need to look at ourselves, you know, and sometimes, you know, we need to ask for that help, you know, and looking at ourselves, because it's like, I can say, hey, bro, man, I suck, dude. But he'll be like, well, no, you're this, you're that, you know. So this is me reaching out, saying, hey, bro, I ain't got it together, man. I need some help. Julie, I ain't got it together. I need some help. And I'm pretty sure you look at people, it's like, okay, this is your product, this is what you're trying to sell, you know, let's focus on that. Why are you trying to focus on, you know, this person's boutique? You know, you have your own boutique. Let's look at your style.
You know, I think one of the things that really hinders us from doing that is because we're scared to put the mirror in front of us. You know, we're scared to face ourselves. And until you get to that point of being okay with facing yourself and dealing with that, you'll forever be looking at other people and being carbon copies. But you have to, like for me, when I started my therapy journey, because, you know, in the African American community, it's not really talked about, or was not as talked about when we were growing up as it is now. I was 35. But for me, the fear of staying the same was a lot bigger than the fear of going forward and starting therapy. And so, so once I was able to face myself and sit in the flaws, the mistakes, the accomplishments, the uniqueness, that's why I continue to go around the same mountain year after year, year after year, you know. But once I was able to sit in the realness and rawness of who I was and accepted, you know, that I am who God created me to be regardless, and I'm still loved, at that point it's kind of like when I got my freedom. And I was able to show up and be unapologetically dope and say, can't nobody beat Jay at being Jay. It just is what it is, you know. Like, it's the same for you. Can't nobody beat Tim at being Tim. But until you get to that point, you'll forever be stagnant and continue to try to be carbon copies of someone else. But once you get that freedom, they can throw dirt on your name. They can bring your flaws up and all that other stuff. But it doesn't matter because you've already done the work to face that, you know?
You know, you said something there. You talked about putting the mirror to your face. Is it one of the, I guess, the downfalls and the fear of us not putting the mirror to our faces? We don't want to see the ugly truth. But the flip side of that is that a lot of times You go around, people say, well, I see this in you. I see this in you. But the reason why we don't see it in ourselves is, again, because we won't put that mirror up to our face. Right. And so while we're running away from our flaws, or we're running away from those things that we feel we need to be improving on, that we could be better on, we're not actually seeing the things that we have improved on. We're not seeing the things we have overcome, because, again, we're not putting that mirror in our face. So there is a benefit to putting that mirror to your face. And so, it's worth it, just to see who you are, to know who you are. And Tony Boy, we're going to make this shirt called You University. Yes, I already saw it. I saw
You University. Yeah, I love it.
I'm a graduate. You know what I'm saying? So, definitely.
It's we don't ask ourselves, we don't ask ourselves hard questions, but then again, we don't ask people hard questions like, all right, how am I doing? I'm sorry, let me back up. There's a word that is so overrated, and that word is hater.
Yeah.
It's so overrated. It is way, it is in heavy rotation. Yeah, and it's, come on, let's, right, here's the thing. So if I was to say, hey, how am I doing? And you say, well, you know what? You could brush your hair a little bit more, get them wrinkles out your shirt, or you could do this, you could do that. And oh, that person a hater. You a hater.
Right.
But you asked, though.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You asked. So we don't ask for help because of fear of hating also.
Yeah.
Or the that's what we put in our head anyway, that is hating.
Story we tell ourselves.
Right. And it's not. It's so I said that because even on the job, sometimes jobs don't ask those hard questions. How are we doing? Do you want to know? Do you want the water cooler talk?
Right.
Do you want that?
Right.
Right, because I could say something, but don't call me a hater or don't call me disgruntled.
Right.
That's it.
But here's the thing, though.
Are those anonymous surveys really anonymous?
Right.
They know who you are.
Right. Shucks, I mean, you was watching my keystrokes and all. Right. I know you got it.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say
No, I digress. But no, I mean, so we also need to pay attention to who we ask for help also.
Absolutely.
Because what happens too is, even when we're trying to be ourselves, somebody will say, oh, just be like so-and-so. You see what he did? You see what she did? And if they're going to critique us off of somebody else, and no, player, I don't need your help.
Right, stay over there.
Yeah, stay over there. Hey, I'm gonna hit the corner. I don't need your help because, I mean, if I'm asking about me, why would you tell me about somebody else?
Yeah.
You're not helping me talk about somebody else. I understand that there are examples, but no, help me fix me. Tell me what it is about me. Tell me my shortcomings or tell me my flaws. If I did this job and I ask you how is it, don't say, oh man, you should have did this like so and so. No, I don't want to do it like that.
Right.
I could only work with what I have.
Right.
So,
and and like I said, I'm going back to where Julia, what she specializes in is life coaching. With emphasis on branding and social media. And when you talk about just life coaching in general, what are some hindrances when you don't ask for help? What are some pitfalls of not asking for help that you've seen?
Well, one I talked about earlier is you continue to go around the same mountain over and over. It's kind of like that Jonathan McReynolds song, Cycles.
Right.
It's like it's a never-ending hamster wheels is going around and it's like no progress. So number one, you're stagnant. You make no progress. Number two, I would say you eventually get to a point where you run off the help that the Lord is steady sending you. And it's kind of like, I was in this a kingdom building class last week, and one of the things the facilitator mentioned was, you know, we have this saying, what's for you will never miss you. And it's actually not true. It's actually said in pride that you think that God gonna keep sending you this same opportunity over and over and over again. No. Like, it's only so many times before God is gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna just leave you to yourself.
Right.
And you can go on and keep going on that hamster wheel. So you're stagnant. You keep going around the same circle over and over again. You push away and get rid of the help that you've been asking for. And not only that, but you run the risk of not fulfilling the purpose that God created you for. Wow. You know, Dr. Miles Monroe talked about it often, how he wanted to die empty. You know, I want to die empty. I don't want to leave. I don't want any unfulfilled promises or purposes taken with me to the grave.
Right.
You know, I want to be able to say, I want other people to be able to say, when I leave here, Julia fulfilled her purpose.
Right.
You know, and so I would say those are the top three.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's good.
I really like that. And when you talked about the running off the help that God gives you, it made me think of that story when, you know, come to a town when the town was flooding, and then the person there, and somebody came by in the car. Yeah. They're like, "Nah, I'm waiting on God. Jesus. God gonna save me." Somebody water fill up. Now somebody come by with a boat. They on the roof. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm waiting on God. He gonna save me. Then somebody come with a helicopter. You know what I'm saying? Because the water raised up so high. I'm waiting on God, and then they die. You know what I'm saying? They drown. Then get to heaven and say, "God, why you let me die?" Say, wait a minute, I sent you a car, a boat, and a helicopter to come get you. You know what I'm saying? And you sat there and died.
See,
you know, so yeah, that help.
I got a problem with that story because I'm like this. All this help that God didn't send, you think you still gonna make it to heaven? You didn't even know him. You didn't know him. I'm sorry. You know, my sheep know my voice.
That's a good one, though. That's really good, though. Yeah. Like, you know, do you know the voice of the Lord? Because I would, okay, that's my daddy telling me to get in this car.
Speaking of that, though, you know, you talked about you can't take help from everybody also.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You do have to be in tune with the Lord's voice, because sometimes people will come to you with the look of help and wanting to serve and wanting to help you get to your next level or wherever it is. And, you know, all the time they have other intentions, ulterior motives. And so you do have to be in tune with the Lord. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? With the voice of the Holy Spirit. You got to be, even if you, let me say, even if you don't know, if you're having, you know, second guessing, you know, you should still be in contact or in fellowship with somebody, you know what I'm saying, that knows you well enough. And I feel like Tony Boy, this is my best friend, right? You know, and I feel like, man, if I come to Tony Boy and say, "Hey, man, Tony, look, God showed me this Lamborghini. He told me I could get it." And Tony said, "Hey, wait a minute. You working at Amazon. What you talking about getting that Lamborghini for? God ain't told you that." "Wait a minute, no, man, but I heard it in my prayers. I saw it, man. I saw me riding down Cantrell with this Lamborghini." You know what I'm saying? But you know, so you got to have people around you that's in tune enough, you know, with you to say, "Hey, wait a minute, that one guy."
I be trying to let's interpret that dream. Right. Let's interpret that.
Let's find Bible to back it up.
Was it a Hot Wheels Lamborghini?
Right.
Yeah.
4-scale model.
Right.
But you know, when you think about that, one of the things that, you know, for me, because I'll be transparent, you know, I've been in business for 5 years, but I didn't secure my first business coach until last year, just because I had trust issues for that very reason. Like, you know, it was hard for me to trust people. I'm like, I don't know who I can trust with my baby and to be vulnerable around. But one of the things that helped me, you know, as I was looking at different coaches, is looking at their fruit.
That's good.
And not necessarily saying you have to be on social media and posting customer and client testimonials all day, every day, but just look at their mission, their vision, look at who they've helped in the past. How have they helped them? Have those people grown? Are they repeat clients? You know, what avenues have they gone to expand their network? So I think when we're thinking about asking for help, that needs to be one of the things we look at.
So what, you talked about your business. What pushed you to the point to where you say, you know what, I need some help? and what made you finally just cast a line or do the lifeline call? What made you do it?
Yeah, so originally I started in 2017 as a graphic designer and social media manager, which was totally not what he asked me to do. And because it was not what he asked me to do, I became frustrated. And I was like, forget it, I don't want to do this anymore. I shut my business down at the beginning, like January of 2020, with no intentions of coming back. And that entire year, I went around that mountain, arguing with the Lord, thinking I'm going to win. And it's like, okay, clearly I'm not about to win this. So let me just go and wave this white flag and let me relaunch my business. And I did. In 2021, one of the instructions that God gave me was to trust him and to trust the person he sent to help me. And when I relaunched in 2021 and let him get in the driver's seat and just drive, because that was my first instruction, was to trust him, things just started popping off, like more so in 3 months than it did the 2-3 years I was in business prior to. And it was from this one particular coach. She gave me my first speaking opportunity. She contracted me to come and talk about branding to her certification classes. And I'm like, okay, Lord, okay. Then she asked me to be a keynote speaker at her upcoming conference. I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm going to keep trusting you. And he's like, you going to go ahead and book her as your coach? Because I'm telling you, like, I'm telling you, this is who I've sent to you. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this, looking at finances. But when you finally get to a point and you say, okay, yes, I'm going to do what I need to do, make the sacrifices I need to make to get the help that I need, I had to buckle down and just make it do what it do. So it was like the Lord just kept providing resources for me financially to be able to secure her as my coach. And when I was able to do that, again, a new cycle, new wave of opportunities. And I'm like, Lord, and he just like, just keep trusting me.
Wow. Yeah.
And so every time he gives me an instruction, or every time, I pray for something, I write down how he's answered it, because that helps me in times when doubt tries to come in and say, you can't do this, or fear tries to come in and say, you can't do this. Actually, I can, and this is why. Look at his track record,
Yep.
Right.
So for me, it was just a matter of being like, I know that I have a unique group of people that's called, specifically to me, that I'm called to serve. And I know that my obedience and my yes is tied to their destiny. And I don't like people waiting on me.
Right.
Like I just don't like, and I don't want to be the reason someone else is held up. And so for me, that was what it was. Primarily was that. And of course, glorifying God. It was like, okay, Julia, you want to stay the same, or you want to go ahead and just come out your comfort zone and expand. And for me, the fear of staying the same was greater than getting out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Wow. So I got a question I want to pose to you all. You mentioned earlier about being independent. So should we focus more, or should people focus on being independent, or is it possible? Let me just ask this question. Is it possible to ask for help and still be independent?
To a certain degree. I mean, because here's the thing with coaches. Coaches are there to help you find the answers on your own. You're going to do the work.
Right.
And so you can absolutely ask for help and still be independent in that, there's been certain things that I've taken to my coach, certain ideas and strategies, and she comes back with her recommendations and her suggestions. But there's areas where it's ultimately like, okay, this is what I think, but I still have to take those suggestions and recommendations and bring them to God and say, okay, God, is this in line with where we said we were going? And I have that independence to say, okay, well, I know you suggested that. I know you recommended that. I took it back to God, and this is what we came up with. You still have to have that measure of independence to where you're not putting all of the responsibility on the help.
Yeah,
So.
that's good. Right. And she started talking about the coaching, Coach E relationship. It reminds me of like a coach and a football player, and specifically the greatest quarterback of all time in history, in life, in the universe. Thomas L. Brady. I think about that, but I'm just, even with any athlete, you may have a specific, like, let's say a quarterback coach. He can teach him a lot of stuff, but it's still on them to get out there on that field.
Yep.
The coach can't step out on the field for you. You know what I'm saying?
I
As
like
much
it.
as they stay with you and on the sideline and in the background, they can't make you get out there and play the game. So therefore, you have to have like a coach-player relationship.
Right,
and then
right.
when it's time for you, when the lights are on you, it's time for you to show up.
Right.
You know?
Right. So I asked that because there are so many who focus, like she mentioned earlier, like Miss Julia mentioned earlier, independent black woman, and people, there are some who focus on that, being independent black woman, to where it's like they don't ask for help. And so let's talk about an independent black woman who's in business. Well, you can't focus too much on independent because you depend on your clients.
Absolutely.
Just like, honestly, Tom Brady wouldn't be who he is without those wide receivers.
Right. You right.
You would suck as a quarterback if I didn't catch the ball.
He can't run and catch it himself.
Right. So the thing is that I'll put it this way, in order to really be independent, you don't need nobody. But honestly, you will never be successful if you didn't have or need anybody. There are billions of people for a reason.
Yes.
Because we all need each other.
Absolutely. Community.
Right.
That's good. That's good. And I think we kind of touched on, the response you should have to help. When Julie talked about how she take that information, she just takes it, and then she goes back with the information, and then she sits down and speak with God about it. Does this line up? Let me open my word. Is this lining up with the word? Just like if somebody gave you a prophecy, you know what I'm saying? It can sound real good, but does it line up with the trajectory? Trajectory.
That word.
That's right. Okay.
We're going to edit that part. We'll edit that part.
This is raw talk. We keeping everything. But does it line up, with the direction of my life? So I mean, again, so we gotta. I like that response to it. Last time we talked about one of our things we do is we pray. And so you gotta make sure, even with when you get help, to know that it's the right help. To know that it lines up, you have to have that line of communication open with the Lord, and so that's going to be like your first response. You know what I'm saying? You need to get in front of God with that help, and even though somebody say, hey, I see what you're doing, and I would like to invest in your company. I want to invest $10 million in your company. Before you say yes, write the check.
Right. You need to go and take that to the Lord.
Right.
I know you sitting there like, ooh,
Holy Jesus.
you know what I'm saying? I want that.
And that's why we that's why we need help right there.
Right. That's exactly.
Because it's like the first thing I thought, I'm gonna buy a house.
Yeah.
Forget business.
Right.
Yeah.
That's enough to me to just retire.
Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna go sit down.
But yeah, that's why I say that's why it's so important. That's why your response is so important to the help that you receive. Also, because when you are receiving help, what we have to realize is that people are taking time out of their schedule, out of their life. They are pouring into you, valuable things that they've either learned from experience. They've gone to school to learn. They've learned from what they observed, their life experience as a whole. They're actually taking time to invest part of that in you. And so we have a responsibility to respond, you know what I'm saying, to that sacrifice that they made for us. So that's another reason why it's so important for us to respond. You got anything on there, sister?
So in those circumstances, because in business there are risks we have to take, but especially for those that may have asked for help and were burned, and so now they're kind of like, but I did ask for help, and look where that got me. Having a response of, allowing Jesus to be the standard and the apology that you're looking for, the redeemer, the deliverer, and put yourself back out there and say, okay, Lord, this particular time it didn't go like I wanted it or needed it. Can you give me greater clarity on who I can trust, who I can consider wise counsel? having the attitude of taking it back to God and not being bitter.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's
You
good.
know,
That's good.
allowing it to make you better and not bitter.
Right.
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 That's good there. So once we have gotten to a point to where we can actually ask for help, you know what I'm saying? How should I know we talked about response, but what's the potential change that comes from actually accepting the help that we've asked for?
One would be you would have a greater sense of being able to pour back into others because now you know what that experience looks like. But also you'll have a better, for me, it brought me closer to God because it was just kind of like, you know, the scripture that says, you know, if your earthly father gives you good gifts, why would your heavenly father withhold good things from you? So it's kind of like, for me, that opened my eyes to say, you know, the Lord is my portion. He does supply all my needs, you know. And to be honest with you, they may not come when you want them, for real, but they are always on time, you know.
Right.
It gives you also just a better heart to serve. You know what I mean? It gives you that space, that freedom to feel like there are good people in the world, you know, and I want to continue to do good with my people, my tribe, my community, or whatever your platform may be. And I think it also shows others, especially if you talk about it, shows others that may be fearful to go ahead and open up and ask for help. You know, when I started my therapy journey back in 2020, I was very transparent. I was very open with it on social media. Now I didn't air out my dirty laundry and stuff like that, but I was very, open about what that looked like, especially on therapy days. When I would go, I would kind of do like this recap of what revelations I got. And to be honest with you, I had I would say about 10 or 11 people that reached out to say, Julia, like, I'm really thinking about starting therapy. Like, can you elaborate a little bit more on what that experience was like for you? Or they just flat foot out came out and said, hey, I'm starting therapy just because you made me change my perspective. I think I feel a little bit better now giving it a chance. Because, you know, again, growing up, we didn't talk about that.
Right.
You know, white people go to therapy. We don't go to therapy. We don't talk about nothing in our household. And for so long, that's why a lot of us have gone around the mountain of bondage because we haven't done the work to get free of those generational things that we went through. And so just being able to share your journey of how you asked for help, how you overcame that fear, how you overcame that pride may help the next person overcome fear and pride.
Right.
So
you're saying what you asking for help helped others reach out for
absolutely.
help. That's
Absolutely.
good. That's
Absolutely.
good.
So when you talk about your actual clients, and you know, when they've actually asked for the help with their businesses or what have you, and they actually get the help, and the outcome of receiving that help, what are some things that, and I know you kind of touched on some things that change in you personally, but from the experiences of your client perspective, what changed for them? You know, did it? I don't know if it's maybe a confidence booster,
Absolutely.
Or if it's it helped them get out more. But what are some things that?
Absolutely. I know 2 clients that come to mind. I won't name them here, but two of them absolutely were originally afraid to show up on video. Like, they did not want to be the face of their brands. They didn't want to do nothing. Like, they were even anxious about posting quotes, like, you know, just posting just regular, normal content. And these 2 ladies are showing up on social media like it just comes natural to them now.
Wow.
And they're comfortable with telling their stories, but that was because of the work that we did in coaching, like being able to hold that mirror up to them and affirm them and tell them who they are in Christ and tell them why they're unique and who all they're called to serve. Once they were able to get through all of that, now they're comfortable with themselves and they can show up and be authentic to their community. I would say another change in them would telling their story, being comfortable with telling their story. And that doesn't necessarily have to be on video, but I know one of the ladies, they've started a podcast, you know, just
Right.
being able, they have a greater sense of confidence to show up as themselves and not someone
Wow,
else.
that's good.
That's good. I think about times when I've personally had to ask for help, and especially here recently, you know, when starting a business, I've had a lot of businesses in the past, and they've kind of been like side hustles and things like that, and never really been like a legitimate business. This time around, with what the Lord had given me, I wanted to do it legitimately.
Right.
And so one of the first things that, you know, I feel like the Holy Spirit was telling me is like, hey, you have everything you need right around you. So it's time to start using what you have available to you. I've put you in a place to where you don't have to go and run and have to kind of feel people out.
Right.
And see what their intentions are and things like that. You already know these people and you've known them for a long time.
Yeah.
So you know what they're about. You've seen their journeys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So so I was able to actually, right there in the community I was in, actually in my church, I was able to reach out to Mashonda Soul Solutions, Solutions for me. And where she helped me get my business license, helped me get my bank account and everything set up. I was able to reach out to Julia right now, and we're working on a campaign for the launch of the business. I was actually able to reach out to Kelly. Kelly helped me set up my my finances, like an accounting, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what she did for years and years. Able to reach out to Marquita. Marquita's helped me with some of the aesthetics of the decor of the office and everything. So I mean, and those are just a few people. I'm not even talking about the other people who already have businesses that I can reach out to and say, hey, how did you feel when you did this? Or you know what I'm saying, what are some roadblocks you ran into when you did this? And so I have all these things right here available to me, and all it took me was to actually listen to the Holy Spirit and ask for the help. What that changed for me was, and just briefly, you know, what it did for me was, I honestly, you know what I'm saying, I could have did everything everybody that I talked to have done, but it would have taken me time.
Yeah.
I would have had to research. I'd have been spinning myself, my wheels, you know what I'm saying? It would have took me so much longer, and then I might have made mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I have to spend money, and then, you know, I have to spend that money again because I can do something right, and all this stuff like that. And it's like, okay, invest in who are around you, ask for that help. And then with that help, what that's done for me is allowed me to focus on the actual business itself.
Wow. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I think even in this conversation, I've come to realize that when we use what's available to us, use the people available to us, we look more like the Trinity. We look more, because he said, let us make man in our image.
Wow.
You know, we look more like the Trinity. And I know my real strong seasoned religious folks are like, no, God don't need no help. But he did say, you know, let us make man. He did say that,
Right,
you know. Not only that, but he did say, well, who can go and reconcile my people to me? He did say, okay, well, now that I have him back, well, who can go and make sure they stay on the right track?
Come on now.
Yeah.
So the thing is, when we use what's available to us, we look more like him. It's amazing how he's 3-part and made us 3-part, but then we say, I'm independent. How can you be Christian and say, I'm independent?
He brought that thing on back around to independence.
He a preacher.
He did.
But seriously, so when we do that, we look more like who created us. So let me ask you this. What can you say, or what would you say to encourage somebody to use what's available to you? Don't be scared. Ask for help. I'm here to help you. Come on now.
I will say, and I think I posted something similar to this the other day, but a lot of times we get frustrated. We get frustrated in our fear. We get frustrated in our stagnation because we have a clear picture of what life could be like. If there's a barrier, there's a hindrance. But I said the other day that you will find the relief you're seeking when you give up being perfect for just being you.
Wow.
Come on now.
Just give up being perfect. give up being like somebody else and just be you and be okay with you need help. We all need help.
Right.
Like, we're all in need of someone else. We are the hands and feet of God. Like, we were made to do life together. And that means you have to ask for help. So I would take that and say the relief that you're looking for, the relief that you are seeking, is on the other side of asking someone for help.
Right.
You know, you can continue to spin your wheels, you can continue to be frustrated, but that ain't moving the needle none.
Right.
You know, so ask for help and ask God to give you the wisdom.
Right.
He gives it freely to those who ask. So ask for the wisdom to have the discernment on who you can trust. And much like Tim, you know, for me, the business coach that I was looking for had been right there the whole time.
Wow.
Yep.
Now, mind you, I didn't know this lady from a can of paint. We met on Instagram. And that's the power of social media. Like, I met this lady on social media. She was one of my first graphic design clients. Over the years, she built her business and started to build her platform. And like I said, and in her building, she offered me opportunities. I would have never been able to have those opportunities if I hadn't put myself out there, if I hadn't stepped outside of the box that society had put me in, that really I had put myself in. I would have never had these opportunities. Right. So the relief that you're looking for, the success that you're looking for, is on the other side of asking for help.
Wow, that's good. Look, and again, we are emphasizing asking for help or overcoming asking for help. I notice like I said, because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, but even outside of Mental Health Awareness Month, even outside of all this other stuff that's going on right now, we have an advocate.
We do.
You know what I'm saying? And so when we're asking for help, even if we don't know, if we don't see somebody down here, they'll say, okay, I don't know if I can trust him. I don't know if I can trust her. I don't know if I can trust this person. I've seen what they did before. I've been hurt before. Guess what? We have an advocate.
We do.
Right.
And if we don't ask anybody else for help, we can always go to God and ask him for help. You know what I'm saying? And I know, like, that's the churchy thing to say. Look, it's the truth thing to say.
Right.
You know what I'm
Man.
saying?
Come on, man.
You know, regardless of everything else, all this conversation, our whole conversation has been about asking for help. But there is a source in which all our help should come from. In all our conversation, we've been saying, hey, ask for that help and then seek God. Ask God for discernment. Seek God.
Yep.
Get the help, but seek God. Seek God. Never forget to seek God. Because if you seek him and then allow him to direct you to the help that he has down here for you, again, it makes your road so much easier. My God. Was Michelle talked about Sunday how the children of Israel walked around in the wilderness, all that whole time, and they were 11 miles away from the promised land. You hear what I'm saying? Like,
11
they
miles.
walked down for 40 years. Yeah. Generations of people passed. You know what I'm saying? And they were 11 miles from the promised land. But because they wanted to do things their own way, you know what I'm saying? They had to keep on going on the hamster wheel, like you said. But if you stop and just seek God first, ask him for that help, let him direct you to where you need to go. Oh my God, it just makes things, it expedites your journey.
Yeah.
It expedites your success.
Right.
It expedites your overcoming whatever it is you're facing.
Absolutely.
Right. And stop being picky with the help.
Okay.
Stop being picky. You know that saying, beggars can't be choosers. Stop being picky with the help. Not saying that you're begging, but the thing is, once you realize you need help, and like Tim said, you ask God, hey, help me. Don't be like the children of Israel. You know what? I don't know what happened with that fella Moses. We're going to make our own God. Stop being picky with the help. I'm sorry. If I build it, it can't help me. It can't help me. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing that I can do with my hands that would help me. Holy Spirit, I'm gonna need you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you. You know, and that is it. He is always available. He's always available. But the thing is, when he shows up, accept the way he shows up.
Wow. Yeah.
Accept the way he shows up.
And a lot of times that may be because when we're asking for help from someone who's already gone where we're wanting to go, right?
Right.
A lot of times in business, because of how superficial social media has become, you know, I will say that as entrepreneurs, we have not done a good job of being transparent about the realness of entrepreneurship.
Right.
We like to talk about the glorification, like the glorifying piece of it. But we don't talk about them days where you ain't made no sales or them weeks you ain't made no goals or anything like that. We want to talk about the big stuff, the good stuff, but not the bad and the ugly. A lot of times God will send us help, but that help will be somebody that we've grown to envy or be jealous of because we want that platform.
Right.
But we have to allow the Holy Spirit to come in and purge us of that so that we can be an open vessel to be able to receive that person. So that's another thing to take into consideration too when you think about, not disliking the help that he brings to us. We got to keep that in mind too. Sometimes the people that he gives us may be somebody that we've formed envy of or jealousy of in our hearts. So
You got to get over yourself.
yeah, you got to get over yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's really going to help some people too, because it's we recognize who can help us.
Yeah.
We do. But when we want the glory, we'll stay far away from it, because it's like, if I can't get the glory, you can't get it either.
Right.
You know, but the thing is, it's costing you right now to keep your mouth shut.
Yep.
It's costing you right now to not reach out.
Yeah.
You know, you're wasting not only your time, but this resource is about to leave you.
Man.
You know, this resource is about to move on. You know, so you better ask for the help. You better. I told a guy at work, I was like, hey man, I see what you're doing. I see that it's possible that they could move you on. I'm gonna ride your coattail all the way up. I don't care.
Yep.
You know, if they say, oh, he just want to be like, no, I see a path way up.
Yeah.
But if I move out of the way, guess what? This makes room for you.
Yep.
You know, so don't hate on me. You know, that word I don't like, but still, I'm eat my own words. But no, it's because the thing is don't talk about my way up, because what I want to do is reach back and pull you up too.
Right.
You know, so if I can show how I'm vulnerable and asking for help, you know, I just may save you. May save you the having to deal with being vulnerable and just offer the help.
Yeah.
You know, I love free advice.
Listen.
I'm gonna be discreet with this, because people that pastor shouldn't be doing this, but anyway.
Raw talk.
Raw talk. Yeah, raw talk. Let me be me. No. So I participated in a physique competition. It was a bodybuilding competition, and I get there, and it's I'm all nervous. Like, man, I can't do this. I almost quit 25 times on the way to the competition, but all the time, the person who I asked for help saying, man, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. But I'm like, no. But then I get there, and it's people I find no different from me. They're nervous. But guess what? I was, hey man, I'm real nervous, and oh bro, all you gotta do is this, and all you gotta do is that. What they were able to do, because I made myself vulnerable, they would say, hey, this is what's strong about you.
Yeah.
Do this.
Yeah.
And it's all from, man, I need some help. So how do you do this pose? Oh man, you do this and you do that.
Yeah.
But it's because I was vulnerable and I put myself out there, man, I need the help.
Yeah.
I need the help. And when I did that, man, these people were able to highlight what was good about me and say, hey, we can hide the part that you don't like by doing this, but show the judges this.
Wow.
I love it.
Wow. I like that.
Yeah.
I like the way you just said that. Yeah. because that help can do that for you. Because again, people can see things in us that
Right.
we can't see, and because, like you said earlier, they've been there, been down that road. They can tell you what potholes to avoid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
right.
And that's I love that example. By the way, what did you walk away with, Tony Boy? You ain't gonna say it, so I'm
What do
gonna
you
make
walk
you
away
say it.
with?
What you walk away
What do
with
you
there,
walk away
Tony
with?
Boy? This your first physique competition, right?
Yeah.
Beach body.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right,
okay, wait a minute.
40 plus.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he did. God, dog.
What you walk away with? Just,
I walked away with first place in the 40 plus competition and first place in transformation.
all right.
And
all
this was
right.
your first one?
First one.
First
So,
place.
hush your mouth.
Look, and what you have to do to get there?
Man,
You have to ask for help, right?
I had to ask for help.
Yes.
Listen, that right there. I ain't got no room to do no shouting dance, but I mean, that'll preach.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
had to
yes,
ask
sir.
for
It will. Man, this. Look, y'all. I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation.
Absolutely.
You know, again, to have an opportunity to sit down with good people,
Yeah.
have good conversation, kind of what we're all about, and we definitely want to give a special thank you to
Yes.
Julia N. Scoggins.
Thank you for having
joining
me.
us, ma'am. I know that you're a very, very busy person, and so y'all, Julia, let everybody know where they can find you, how they can contact you, again, what it is that you do, and so you can help them.
Yes. So again, you can find me on Instagram at @I am_Jae Nicole. That's JAE Nicole. And my website is Jae Nicole Solutions. But that's just J, the letter J, NicoleSolutions.com.
Cool. And and what is it again that you do? So you can just so we can remind everybody the awesome services that you provide.
I am a certified life coach specializing in social media and branding. And my target audience is Black female entrepreneurs, but I do help all nationalities and genders. That's who I'm anointed to serve.
Already. Ma'am, look, I greatly appreciate it. Again, we were discussing overcoming asking for help. It is so very important that you get the help you need. If it's from a friend, a family member, if it's from a professional counselor, if it's from a business coach, if it's from a ministry leader, wherever you get your help from, it's imperative that we don't try to take this thing called life on all by ourselves.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so, Tony Boy, do you have any closing remarks? You want to pull it, Doc?
I just want to say, wow. No, I just want to say people are here for a reason. Yes, we can be difficult to deal with, but don't make that one difficult person everybody. Ask for help. You're right there. You're right at the edge of success. Ask for help. Asking for help could pull you right over it, man. So please, seek help. Get you some help in whatever area it is. I know we just talked about help with brands and things of that nature, but in every area we could use help. Every area, whether
Yes.
it's learning how to do a recipe or fixing a flat or whatever, help. Ask for help. Do
Yes.
not be afraid to ask for help.
Yes. Julie, you have any final closing remarks?
Just remember, like Tony Boy just said, the relief and success that you are looking for is on the other side of you asking for the help. So,
Amen.
amen.
All heads and minds are.
All hearts clear.
So, yeah, man, again, it has been an awesome time. We will definitely make sure that we put Jae Nicole's information in the description, ways you can contact her social media wise, her website. And she's so modest that she didn't even that I'm gonna do it.
She left out some stuff.
She left out a little something. Look, she has her and a group of young ladies have a remarkable podcast by the name of Pressing the Unmute Button. Yes, and so before we get out of here,
unapologetically dope. That's what I'm talking about.
I gotta let her tell us what unapologetically what pressing the unmute button is about, and just kind of let her talk about her podcast real quick.
So, Pressing the Unmute Button podcast, also known as P-Tub, was created as an extension of my friendship with two of my church sisters, family sisters. We got a whole bunch of lines that cross, but P-Tub is a safe space for Black women to speak their minds. No judgment. We talk about Black culture. We talk about family. We have an episode this coming Friday where we will be talking about Black, blessed, and building. So we'll be talking about Black blended families and how that shows up today and resources for Black blended families. But it's been a really great second season. I didn't even think to mention that, but it is, like I said, a safe space for Black women to just be free to speak our minds with no judgment. So definitely follow us at Pressing Unmute on Instagram and on Facebook. We try to do 2 shows every month on Fridays. So, we always come with the dope vibes and shenanigans. So check us out.
Right, that's cool.
So you can find them on the popular podcast platforms as well as YouTube, y'all. So it is a video podcast as well as an audio podcast. And what is your YouTube handle? It's the same?
It is the same. I will say that when you catch us live video-wise, you get a lot more shenanigans because you can see it live and in color.
It's only entertainment.
Yeah. But we know that, some people like to just listen and not catch the video portion or like to go back and listen to it. But it is also audio on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Facebook Podcast.
Okay, that's cool.
Bet. Yeah. Again, look, we can sit here and talk forever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This has just really been an awesome vibe. And again, we are so thankful for Julia coming out to help us with this portion as we are observing Mental Health Awareness Month. Asking for help is not a problem. Please ask for help if you need it. Hey, my name is Tim.
And I'm Tony.
Hey, and we'll leave our contact information also in the description. We have a couple of social media sites now. And so we will be posting different stuff on it.
and also, if you hadn't had a chance to check out our first episode, Overcoming Getting Started, please check that out. Please check that out. I believe it will bless you.
Absolutely.
I believe it will bless you.
Hey,
I'm trying to get my... But yes, please check out the first episode. And then, if you need more encouragement on, overcoming, asking for help, just do this one again.
Yeah. And make sure you share this information if it bless you. If you found value in it, go ahead and share it with everybody you know. Yep. Okay. So we are going to get out of here. We thank you all for taking your time to spend this little over an hour with us. Didn't seem like a whole hour.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all talk too much.
But we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us. And until next time, again, my name is Tim.
And I'm Tony.
And this is Raw Talk Christian Podcast. We love you. Y'all have a good evening.
Peace.